Mercedes Benz is today one of the leading brands in the automotive sector, constantly innovating with new cars and engines that revolutionize the market. Mercedes Benz makes $168 billion each year and has a market value of $35 billion. The origin of this brand was in 1861, where Karl Benz worked in a locomotive factory in Germany. A few years later, Karl decided to quit his job in the factory to go to university, where he became an engine design engineer. In 1878, Karl created the first two-stroke internal combustion engine, which reflected his talent and skill. In 1880, Karl already had his first workshop where he developed his first engine and began to manufacture his prototype car. Benz, with two friends related to the sector, in 1883 formed a company where they manufactured industrial machines, which they called Benz and Company. In 1885, these friends presented their first car, which they patented as Benz Patent Motor Wagon. It had a top speed of 17 miles per hour and had 3 wheels. What made him different from the rest was the luxury inside the vehicle. Karl was driving his car through the streets of the city, which caught the attention of the inhabitants of the area. In 1886, he obtained the patent that identified it as the first car that could be moved by itself. A few years later, Benz managed to make the car with 4 wheels and called it Benz Victoria. In 1899, competitors with characteristics very similar to Benz cars began to appear. One of the strongest competitors was Daimler. It came to light because he met a famous Austrian distributor who was amazed by his cars and decided to buy all his production, although on one condition: the name of the model had to be the name of his daughter, Mercedes. Soon, the car races, better known today as Formula 1, began to appear, and again the main competitors were Benz and Daimler. In 1920, due to the First World War, his car business was on the verge of bankruptcy, due to the terrible economic situation. So, in 1924, Benz and Daimler merged their companies, forming the new company called Daimler-Benz. After the merge came the new logo, the star we all know and have seen today. Their union led them to release their first model together, the Mercedes-Benz SSK. Karl Benz passed away in 1929. After his death, the company continued his trajectory in a normal way. In 1936, Mercedes-Benz created the first diesel passenger car in history, the 206D. World War II soon arrived, and this surprisingly benefited the company, due to the need for people to move from one place to another quickly. After the war, the company upgraded its Grand Tourer, the Mercedes-Benz 500Q, and the W25 racing car, which won many races in Formula 1. In 1955, Mercedes-Benz created the famous 300 SL, which was the best sports car of the time. New competitors appeared in Formula 1, and for Mercedes it was essential to win the races in order to highlight the prestige and quality of its engines. In 1980, the first Mercedes aimed at a more general public was designed, with models such as C, E and ML class. In 1993, the Mercedes C36 AMG, which was the first model made in collaboration between the brands Mercedes and AMG, went on the market. In 1998, Mercedes merged with Chrysler. After this merge, the company released its first SUV, which was the GL. In 2007, Mercedes breaks the agreement with Chrysler and signed with Renault, with whom they shared technology to create their models for the public as well as for Formula 1 models. Mercedes also had a collaboration with McLaren with exclusive models like the SLR. Mercedes-Benz continued to adapt and innovate with new models and car engines as always, placing it among the best car brands in the world. Its position in Formula 1 is still very good, as it's one of the teams with most victories in Formula 1 history. Now we're gonna analyze and see the keys to success of Mercedes-Benz. The first one is symbol of luxury. This is because Mercedes has achieved that its brand is seen with a goal to be achieved for the majority of people, because driving a Mercedes is identified with status and prestige. The second one is creativity and innovation. Mercedes do not stop innovating in order to become a point of reference in the automotive sector. They are not satisfied with anything they have already achieved so far. The third one is adaptation. Mercedes has been able to adapt to the needs of the market by recently developing electric cars such as the EQS model.